Welcome to Makahiki walkthrough part 6572. I'm here, as always, with my partner in crime, George.
Hello. Still here.
Still here. I tell you, he can't graduate till we finish these walkthroughs. So hopefully we're gonna kind of, make some progress getting through these.
Yeah.
So what we were working on, activities.
Right.
And we went through the components part of the activities.
Right.
We got through that. And then in what I thought would just be a brief little excursion, we started talking on the pages, but that turned out to be much more complicated than we initially
Right.
thought. And so last time, what did we get through? We just got through...
I think we did look at the URL. So we were looking at views, I think.
So we looked at the URLs, I remember that, and we looked at the views. Right, and we were talking about the
Yeah, we were talking about the
index method and so forth. Okay, so where should we go from here?
I guess we were going to look at something else in here. There was a lot of...
Right, so let's see, maybe I can do this.
Yeah.
Okay, so we saw the index method, which is here. Where should we go? Where do you think we should go?
Well, hopefully things like view codes and view RSVPs are really quick.
Let's see. So here's view codes. And so this views the confirmation codes for a given activities. Oh, so this is like an admin.
Right.
It's an admin thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I see the first thing is we can check to see whether request.user.isStaff. So that's some Boolean attached to the user object,
Right.
attached to the request object.
Right.
So that's our kind of
type.
authentication or access control.
Right.
Per page equals 10. And we...
So, yeah.
What happens here?
This is for like the confirmation because when you like print it out on the sheet of paper,
Okay.
so there's like there's going to be some amount of codes per page, and so I have like a parameter there to just kind of set it, like as a default value of 10. But you can like change it if you like add an additional parameter.
Oh, I see. This is the default. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Come on, Philip. Use your programming skills. Okay, so you're just overriding the default with whatever they ask for. And then we get the activity.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see. So you've got some. You're already showing the activity type as part of the URL.
Right.
Okay.
So it's going to be something like activities / I don't know, Pedalpalooza
Right.
/ view codes or something.
Okay. Okay. And then the codes is we're going to filter the objects in the confirmation code class by the activity name.
Right.
And if we don't have any, that would be bad. And then otherwise, we've got some kind of page here.
Right.
Would this be a time where we should go look at the page, the HTML?
Sure. This one is kind of, well, relatively hackish compared to the other ones, but okay.
Okay, so that would be view activities, view codes.
So that would also make it relatively simple, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Is that in here?
Yep.
View activities.
The activities, and there should be view codes.
View codes.html. Okay, so what have we got here?
Yeah, so there's not a lot of like styles. I mean, I just kind of hard coded it in because the codes have to be like laid out in like a certain way.
Right.
So this is like an empty HTML template in the top. Like there's no like head. We're not like importing anything.
Right.
So all the stuff is happening in the body. We're going to create a table of a certain width, and we're going to like lay it out so that we have lines to separate all of the individual items. And a lot of it's just like spacing it properly. And
Right.
So it's pretty long, but it's just basically just kind of getting it.
Okay, and then this is this Django template language
Right,
here.
so if we look back at the views, we passed this template. Oops.
Oh no, how did I do that? Okay. Views.
view codes.
Thank you.
So we're passing it three things, like the activity, the codes, and like thing per page.
Okay, so this is a little dictionary.
Right. And so
Okay.
codes was like our list of, it was our confirmation codes that we've
Right.
over.
Right. Okay.
So
Activity is the name of the activity, and per page is how many of these things we want to print out per page.
Right.
Okay. So let's go back to here. So for code and codes, we're going to create
This is a table column.
column
Or a cell, right?
or a cell within a row.
Yep.
Okay.
So we just create a cell, and then so this is the header, is going to be the title of the activity,
Right.
and you could earn like whatever points,
Right.
and go to blah blah blah.
Go to blah blah blah, and enter the. Click on get nuts. Blah blah blah. Okay. And then if activity has a social bonus, then you can earn it.
Right.
Okay. So that's for code and codes.
So we're still in that block up to that if statement is still within the block. So,
Right.
So, right. So right here, like we're just checking if it's divisible by 2. So we like end this row and create a new one. If we're finished with the page, we create a new table.
Boy, that's some crazy syntax there. Look at that.
Yes, this is the Django template language.
Yeah.
So as part of the for loop, you have access to certain variables. So for loop.counter is the counter of the for loop. I think it's 1 indexed. And so
What does this slash? What does the vertical bar mean?
So there's template tags, which are like the for loops and stuff, and you can also apply filters to things. And so in this case, this is a filter that says divisible by.
It's like a pipe, kind of a piping thing.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy. This
That's
is
just
like,
crazy.
Yeah, this is the. I don't know, like a lot of people do like this template language because it's a little bit like you don't like start embedding Python all over the place. But it is like in some ways this other like thing to learn.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Okay, well,
so we
whatever.
check-
That's
yeah.
what it is.
So we check if it's divisible by 2, and then next we check if it's divisible by that per page thing that we passed
Right.
through.
Okay.
And if it is, we're closing this row, we're closing this table, and we start a new table.
Oh my goodness.
Else we just start a new. We close this row and start a new one.
Gadzooks. You know, it almost makes you like Wicket. You know what I mean? I mean, this is the kind of thing that Wicket people say is going to be the ruination of web page design. You know, that's just crazy. But anyway, that's what we're going to do. So, you know, we're going to live with it. I'm not going to complain anymore. I'm just going to, you know, say that. I don't really care actually. Okay, so good. Okay, so that was the view codes.
Yep.
Now, if we go back to view RSVPs, I presume it's very similar.
Right.
Render to response, view active, but maybe it's going to be a little different. What's RSVPs?
This one's probably a lot simpler. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So this is actually not a page. This is like a little fragment or something, right?
Actually,
What is this?
It is a page, and it should have wrapped it in like the proper HTML and stuff. Now that I recall, it's just like a simple text list of the people who are attending.
Is this for the administrators?
Yep, this is also for the administrators.
Oh, okay. I remember this
Right.
as well. So how does the administrator... So is it going to be the case that in the administrator interface you click on some link someplace
Yes.
that actually generates this URL that takes you to this spot?
So, I guess I could show you. Like if we go
You could show me?
If we go back to components.activities.
Let's do that. Components.activities.
Admin.py. It's a little further down.
Admin.py. Oh.
So there's a lot of stuff going on here to like set up things, but if we look at activity admin, I believe it might be further down, but I have to recall. Down some actions, increment priority, decrement priority. Okay, so this activity member form. So this is kind of like this hack to like add in to change some text. It's somewhere in here. I know. Nope, it's not in there. Actually, no. Now that I think about it, it's not in here at all. It's in models.py.
It's in models.py.
Uh-oh.
Models.py? Of components?
Let's think about this. Okay, like, so activity, above common base.
Confirmation code.
No, it's not that one. Let's go down to activity. This should be the one. So let's look at that. See if we can remember. So there is help text that is attached to each of these like fields, or to some of these fields, and that's just like that's the help text that actually shows up in the admin interface. So you see a little bit of text at the bottom that says like, you know, this is like the data activity will be moved. So if we look down, yeah, something. Oh man, I can't.
It's lost. The code, it will never be found.
It's either here or it's in admin.py. I can't imagine it being.
Well, we already went to admin.py. Commitment. Wait, commitment.
It's not in commitment.
Not in commitment. Member admin. Activity admin form. Here, what about this?
Number of confirmation
Number of codes
to generate. Oh, here's the view codes stuff. So instead of this init, okay, it's right here. So we get past the instance of an, like if we're like editing an activity, we get past the instance. So this if statement is checking if there's an instance that has already been created. So it has its created at set, and then if its confirmation type is code, we're going to change the help text for this num codes field from the original one above that says number of codes to generate to number of additional codes to generate. And then we're going to insert this link here, and then the next line appends like a reverse. Which
why is it a plus equals reverse?
So reverse is like the URL resolver. So I'm going to pass it a method, the view codes method.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so awesome. Look at that. You give it the method and the args, and then it tells you, and it gives you the URL?
Right.
Oh, love it.
Right, so that's where it is. And so like right after that is where the event thing is going on as well.
Okay.
So we get a URL from view RSVPs.
Right.
And then we insert text there to view RSVPs.
Okay, so there, we found it. We found it. I knew it was possible for you to do it. Okay, so having said that, the models.py, we can actually just even close. We'll just close up components for the moment. Okay, so now we're back down in here. So we viewed the codes. We viewed RSVP, attendance codes. Claim the attendance code.
So yeah, a lot of these things are going to be like these. I mean, as we like developed, I mean, this is like Makahiki 1 development in a nutshell. We developed more and more things like the social bonus on top of like the attendance code. So there's a lot of like logic here that is just checking like, oh, has this code been redeemed? Has this code been like redeemed for, or has a user already participated in this event? So first we're going to do like we're going to check if it's an AJAX request. So we're going to do like an AJAX submit first. We check for a post, and then we validate against all these things. Like we check if the code is active. We check if the code was already redeemed. If it's a social bonus, we check for a social email. So there's a lot of stuff going on in that.
So if it's, when you say is it AJAX and is it a post, is this just to make sure that someone's not spoofing, or what are we?
So,
like, what's the else part of this?
Scroll down. We actually use an AJAX submit for this.
I don't even know where the else begins.
I know, there's a lot of stuff going on in this one. Oh, this is just a purely basically, if it's not an AJAX submit and it's not a post request, it's just going to return
404.
More or less. So we're just checking that they're actually submitting something via post, and they're this is an AJAX request.
Mm-hmm.
So the next line, form equals event code form. So we haven't looked at forms.py, but that event code form is defined in there.
Forms.py?
Yep. So it's just like a little bit above.
Let's see this.
A bunch of forms in there.
Okay, so this inherits from forms.form.
Right. And so these are just a list of fields. It's very similar to like a model definition, but we're just customizing a form separately. But part of validation is called clean in Django. So clean is customizing the form validation.
Okay. Okay.
So.
Yep.
A lot of stuff going on.
Okay. Okay, so where should we go from here? So this is all attendance code. So this is after someone actually submits an attendance code. That's what this is handling. And I guess there's a URLs. If I went to URLs.py, I would see what goes to attend code.
Right.
But I don't.
Let's start from the bottom.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay.
So you wonder, where would this be used? This was probably in the upcoming events box on the left side. Like there's this little space for.
Right. Right.
That's where this. That's where you would submit.
Okay.
This attendance code.
So __ add commitment.
Right. So
now, why is this a private method? Because is there some other?
So the original, like in the urls.py, there is a. So there's the activity type, then the slug, and this is created so it does some kind of like dispatch. So it goes to like the task method, and then decides, okay, if this is a commitment, we're going to dispatch to add commitment.
Oh.
And if this is not a commitment, it basically just goes to.
Oh, I see. So we got this top level sucker here.
Right.
Okay. I see. So everything is a task.
Right.
And then we got to figure out what the type is. Okay. Right. So this is what we do to create a commitment.
Mm-hmm. So there's a form. We check if it's valid. Well, if it's not valid, it goes back to the task page. Interesting.
What are they worried about here?
Indentation.
Yep. Okay. Actually, now I'm starting to get more into this four-space indentation. Now that I'm having such problems lining up my ifs and elses, I might like 4 spaces.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, this is a lot of the nasty code that is doing a bunch of validations.
Yeah.
And stuff, so.
Do you think there's a way to clean this stuff up?
The forms can do some of it, and some of it is just kind of like, this like social email and social email 2 is kind of like strapped on to.
Mm-hmm.
So I think part of it will be cleaned up just because it's a clean slate. Like we can like figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we can clean it up that way. Part of it will be. Part of it we can like offload a lot of the validation to forms.py, if possible. Because again, like both of us were like learning it, like young.
Right.
We're both learning.
Well, that's why I want to kind of capture some of these ideas. So, this is the part 7. So, validation of commitments, activities, etc. So currently done as lots of if then else's in views.py. Try to do it in forms.py?
Sure. I think we can
as
get
part
these.
of clean method.
Right. And we can also like clean individual fields in the form, so that's another way to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, and sometimes just the validation just turns out nasty in some cases. Like I remember like writing the activities validation, like you had to check all of these cases where like, well, if this is an event, then we need these fields.
Yeah, I mean, there may be no clean way to. It just is complicated.
Yeah.
So.
And it is.
Yeah. Okay. Here's dropping a commitment. Hopefully that's a little easier. So.
We check if this user is participating in this commitment.
Right.
Increase sign-up points.
Okay. I just love this reverse method. That is the most rockinest thing. That is so cool. Okay. So we got the task. The task method is. Did we look at this?
Oh no, we looked at add tasks.
Yeah. So what is the task method?
So this is just like the page, like the individual, like activity.
Okay, it displays an actual.
Right.
Okay.
We look for members, like the people who are like have done this and how many have done it.
Right.
There's some additional logic for like the what's it called? The canopy activities. I guess this is the task studies group stuff.
Okay.
So we create a form depending on the confirmation type. So there are a lot of different forms.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay. Yikes.
A lot of stuff going on.
A lot of stuff going on there. Okay, so that's display of an individual task. Reminder. Now this is interesting. Is this where we actually send the reminders, or where you can specify that you want a reminder for this?
This is when you specify. Right, this is one of the few. This one I wrote. So, yeah, so this is when you like click on the button and you want to get a reminder, and the little form pops. That little form pops up.
Now here, instead of having, you have if, as opposed to just if, request is Ajax and request.method equals post.
Right, because I think in this case,
is there different...
if I remember correctly, there is actually an else for this. Way at the bottom, maybe. No, I guess not. Oh, it just falls through. I think that's what... Right. Because there's the two return methods. There's this bottom return method, and a few lines up, there's another return method. So it's just kind of like a fall through. So part of it is like when you first display the form, it is not a post method. So we're just going to show the form. That's what that fall through is. Like at the very bottom, the return method just like returns the form. Otherwise, if this is a Ajax post, we're going to try and process it. And if it processes correctly, then we get to that return method that says success is true. Otherwise, we fall through and we return the form again with like an error message.
Okay, and then drop task. I assume that's
relatively simple.
Very simple for once. Okay, yeah, because it's just dispatching to the right thing.
Right.
Okay, so that's views.py.
Yep. No, is there anything else that we need to...
Maybe not. Well, now we've gone through activities, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we should just take a quick look. I'm kind of curious.
Well, let's start from index.
Let's start from index. Oh, thank you. Okay.
So, yeah, we've gone through a lot of like the head stuff. So upcoming... So we're extending a logged in base. We get to the body. So there's the upcoming events box. and then instead of the content, we have an include tag, so we're going to include the events.html.
Right, right. Okay.
So that's like a lot of what's handling. Like here, the index is like setting up the boxes, and then we like go off to like events scoreboard.
Right.
.html.
Right.
To actually show the pages.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I guess so. I basically, when we move to the new kind of gamelet thing, then this is all going to be kind of part of the gamelet,
right.
And we got to move stuff around. Okay. All right. So there's index.
Yeah, and extra bodies. We have some additional JavaScript helpers.
Right.
Just for that's a cycle scoreboard cycler.
Oh. Huh.
This is like I was trying to figure this out. And this code still part of it still doesn't work. Is I'm trying to like dynamically change the height of the scoreboard based on the content of it, because like in some cases it like overflows and it looks kind of ugly. So that's what like the first like jQuery loop is like looking at trying to figure out the height of the individual children, and then we'll set to the max.
Oh, I see. Right.
But it just never really worked properly.
Okay.
Oh, there's an Ajax submit. So that's the event code thing. And so we have those like funky curly braces again, that URL activity codes.
Right.
Dispatches to a URL.
And we do this in Ajax because we just want to go back to this page.
Right. Yeah, I mean, some things were just done in Ajax because it looks, in some ways it simplifies things, right? Like we don't have to do like the full refresh. And I think in this case, like, what Yongwen did was that there's the code form. Like all you see is enter an attendance code. But if that attendance code is valid, then it pops up another thing that says enter your social bonus emails.
Right.
So that's what's going on here. So it pops up another thing like right underneath. So that was the way he implemented it.
Okay. And then we got all these other little pieces here. Okay, well, shoots. I think we did it.
I think so.
Now, I think, so let's just, out of curiosity, we did have, not that wasn't what I wanted at all. PowerPoint. Going back to our agenda slide, we still got our use case.
Right.
And maybe we'll do that. I'm kind of wondering, is it worth it to go through some of the other pages? Or should we just move on? Maybe we should just move on to the use case next. I'd kind of like to get back to some coding.
Yeah, I mean, we could look, looking at the, like, the activity stuff is the most complicated thing. Like, once, you looked at that, yes, it was like a little sensory overload in some parts.
Yeah.
But, once you looked at that, everything else looks relatively straightforward and simple.
Okay. So let's say next time we'll do use case. We'll do some, like, we'll fiddle with the about page and just go through the deployment cycle. I'd like to see that.
Okay.
And then I think it also would be good to have a little brief one on the information architecture, like we talked about last time.
Okay.
So kind of go through all these models and how they relate. And I might even ask you to, in advance, make a little diagram. Do you think that makes sense? Is there some way to auto-generate a diagram?
That would be nice, but I don't know that there is one.
Yeah. We'll see. Let's take a look. Maybe we can sit down at the whiteboard or something at some point and try to construct it. And then I think we're gonna call it quits. So maybe
Yeah.
we'll have a couple more, and we'll be good to go. All right. Well, thank you very much.
All right.
And
Yeah.
we'll be back. I'm
All right.
sure we'll be